For 9 days every autumn, the streets of India transform. Thousands of people gather in a shared rhythm of celebration for Durga Puja, surrounding themselves with towering decorations and a constant pulse of music. Inside the temporary temples, or pandals, the atmosphere is heavy with incense and devotion. Worshippers perform artis and sing hymns to a deity adorned with meticulous craftsmanship. This beauty is the result of months of labor. Sculptors work in cramped workshops, carefully shaping river clay into divine forms, ensuring every line and expression is perfect before the festival begins. By the time the festival starts, it appears that the city is operating in a state of total harmony with the divine, pouring every ounce of its creativity and love into these idols. But a traditional story suggests that when the celebration ends, the mood in the heavens takes a dark turn. It describes Lord Ganesha returning home to find his mother, goddess Durga, wounded and weeping in pain. Distressed by her condition, Ganesha immediately begins treatment. He tenderly applies ointment to her bruised arms and bandaged wounds, desperate to understand what could have caused such suffering. He looks at her with concern and asks the question that drives the narrative. "Mother, what happened? Why are you guile and crying after such a grand celebration?" It is a question that challenges the logic of the festival. How could a deity go from being the center of a nation's adoration to being physically broken in a matter of hours? We are left with a gap in the story, a period of time where the highest form of human respect somehow leads to the brutalization of the very figure being honored. Durga's answer identifies her attackers as her own devotees. The pain she feels was caused by the same hands that, just a day earlier, were folded in prayer before her. This transition occurs on the 10th day, during Visarjan. This is the ritual of immersion, where the idols are carried to the river's edge to be returned to the water. But the source text highlights a harsh reality. Durga describes the transition from being honored with flowers to being dropped into dirty water and mud, her pristine image suddenly marred by filth. Once in the river, the physical forms begin to disintegrate. The clay melts away, leaving the skeletons of the idols to rot in the gray, polluted shallows of the riverbank. Even the offerings become part of the decay. The sacred garlands and flowers that were used for her shringar are stripped off and tossed into the garbage alongside her. The tragedy is found in the speed of the shift, the immediate movement from a state of supreme sacredness to being treated as literal refuse overnight. This creates a strange observation. How can a person offer deep, tearful prayers one afternoon and then participate in the desecration of that same object the following morning? It suggests a mental divide when the festival ends. The worshipper separates the spirit of the goddess from the physical materials. Convinced the divine has left, they treat the physical vessel as waste. Prayers continue skyward, while clay is pushed into mud. This mental separation has a massive environmental cost. Thousands of idols, decorated with non-biodegradable materials and toxic paints, end up clogging the riverbanks for miles. In the mud, the physical evidence of this disconnect is visceral. It brings us back to Durga's cry in the text. "Where are my marks? Where are my marks?" We see millions participating in a cycle of environmental damage without feeling any internal conflict, because their faith has been detached from the physical world. There is a deep contradiction here. Worshipping the Creator while simultaneously destroying the rivers that sustain her creation is a failure of logic. True respect shouldn't be temporary. If the goddess is truly honored, that honor cannot have an expiration date that ends at the river's edge. History shows us it wasn't always like this. Before mass-produced plastics and synthetic paints, Visarjan was a sustainable return to the natural world. The wounds Durga complains of today, the plastic debris and chemical dyes, are modern inventions, born from our own detachment from the environment. The pollution in our rivers is ultimately a reflection of our internal state. It is the physical byproduct of a devotion that has become more about performance than about the long-term protection of the sacred. The solution is already taking shape. many are returning to eco-friendly idols made of traditional clay and natural dyes, ensuring the immersion is a return to nature rather than an attack on it. This shift isn't a burden on the ritual. Instead, protecting the water becomes a way to demonstrate a more consistent, active form of worship. We can imagine a future where the 10th day is as respectful as the first 9, where the physical remains of the festival are treated with the same care as the prayers. By changing how we celebrate, we ensure that the next time the story of Durga and Ganesha is told, there are no wounds to heal and no tears to dry. Real devotion isn't found in how much we decorate an idol. It is found in the respect we show to what we leave behind.